Another conversation with the MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy, and this one, sir, you know what it means. Fall sports season now getting ready to go full gear this week. It's a pleasure to have you back on.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back like we never left, right?
Yeah, no, it's been a good summer, and but yeah, we're here. We're right on the doorstep of everything officially starting in Division II athletics, and we're excited about hopefully another great fall season for our MIAA programs. And it's good to be with you, Chris. Good to see you after a few weeks away.
Yeah, it's hard to believe the football media day has been, 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks now almost, not quite. And time flies, I guess, when you got everything going on. And here we go. This week we'll start with the Nebraska Volleyball Day on Wednesday, excuse me. See, I'm already lost on dates, times, everything. We're only week 2 into everything. But pretty busy week in the MIAA.
Well, it's going to be an historic week to start out with. Nebraska Volleyball Day is being positioned as a celebration of volleyball, unlike any celebration that's ever happened before. The Cornhuskers hoping to set an attendance record when they play Wednesday night at midfield of Cornhusker Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they're anticipating on Wednesday night, Chris, they're going to have 90,000 people watching an NCAA Division I college volleyball match, and we're proud that the MIAA gets to be a part of this. The MIAA and the Northern Sun will hook up in kind of the opening act, if you will, and so late on Wednesday afternoon, I'm excited that I'll be up there to see Nebraska Kearney playing against Wayne State College out of Nebraska. Two highly ranked and very successful Nebraska college volleyball programs that get to take the stage first. And I'm hopeful a lot of those 90,000 people arrive early to see also some other nationally ranked Nebraska volleyball teams, and they'll see on both teams' rosters a lot of Nebraska high school volleyball stars that didn't decided to come to Kearney or to Wayne State and stay in Nebraska to play and to be playing on teams that actually have shots at not just conference titles but national championship dreams for both programs. So Wednesday's going to be a great day, and I'm really thrilled that the MIAA gets to be part of that historic event.
I remember when they announced the Nebraska having their match there with 90,000 plus was the hope, and how quickly those tickets went. I mean, that was historic. To have something of this magnitude happening with not a football, not basketball, it's volleyball that's selling out a football stadium and having, Division I and the MIAA both there. What is the magnitude of something like this that kind of shows the growth of women's sports as well in the country?
Well, not just a showcase in this region, but it's going to be all over TV, throughout the world, to see a volleyball match in a stadium like that with that type of a crowd. And, it's a huge showcase for not just Division I, Division II, but really all of women's athletics, and kind of where we are with volleyball as, a big time sport, a big time media sport. And, Nebraska's the right place to do this. Nebraska and volleyball go together, and, just like, we're blessed with, what softball means to the state of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And, you could probably do something very similar in Oklahoma with, UCO and Rogers State and Oklahoma and Oklahoma State and do a softball game in a football stadium, and you'd sell that thing out. So, we're blessed in the MIAA to be in a region where, sports, college sports means a lot, men's sports and women's sports. And as I mentioned, just a great moment that the MIAA can be part of this historical event for volleyball in the state of Nebraska on Wednesday.
Like you said, it should be an exciting day there Wednesday up in Lincoln. And then I think you've got a pretty busy travel schedule turn Thursday. MIAA football kicking off Thursday all across the region. Football season's back. I think there's a lot of expectations for the MIAA again this year. A lot of unknowns, too, which I think makes it a lot of fun this year as well.
Well, I think the exciting thing is that, we've got I think the usual schools that will be fighting for conference championships, but we've got some new coaches, we've got some programs on the rise, and I'm really excited to get this kicked off. And I'll be in Pittsburgh for the Washburn Ichabods at Pitt State Gorillas, and should be a great night. We've got 6 football games that start Thursday evening around the conference, and Nebraska Kearney is going to be at Central Oklahoma. That's going to be a fantastic matchup. Central Missouri at Missouri Western. Brand new coach, a lot of excitement. Not a brand new coach to the MIAA or to Missouri Western, but a first-year head coach at Missouri Western, and I think there's a lot of excitement in St. Joe around the program. So we get kicked off, right away with some big-time matchups and some games in week one that are going to go a long way, probably of setting a tone of what the race to the conference championship looks like in the MIAA.
What are your expectations, I guess, if you can have those for kind of the season? Because again, we'll get to the Division II football playoff model, I'm sure, 2 months or so. We'll talk about that discussion again. But how do you again weigh a successful season for the MIAA football too?
Well, I think in football, like most of the sports that are in our university sponsor, Chris, I think the expectation is that we're going to have an MIAA school that's playing in the national championship. And, you need a lot of breaks and a lot of things that go right during your season to make that type of run. But I think that really is the expectation in our conference. And it's realistic, in football, volleyball, women's soccer, basketball, baseball, go down the list. But I think we enter every season with an expectation in the MIAA that one of our schools will emerge from our tough conference play and have a successful postseason that includes a run all the way to having their student athletes in that final game and competing for a national title. And it's been a few years since we've been able to do that in football. We had a couple of really good teams that had their seasons come to an end in Michigan last year on the road against Grand Valley and Ferris State, and both Northwest and Pittsburgh State went games down to the wire that could have gone either way, and that that's what it takes. A break here, a lucky bounce, a turnover at the right time. But my expectation is that this is the year, Chris, that we've got another one of our MIAA teams that will be down in McKinney, Texas, and putting on the pads and seeing if they can take the trophy home for a national title.
Should be a great season. And you mentioned you're going to be in Pittsburgh on Thursday. I'm getting my dates right finally now, not Mondays, not Tuesdays, anything else. I can't get ahead of myself. Thursday, you'll be giving Pittsburgh State the Commissioner's Cup during halftime of the football game. For people who don't know what goes into the Commissioner's Cup. It's not just one sport. It's not just a few things. There's a lot that goes into who wins that every year, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a collection of how well you do in all of the sports you sponsor. You get a certain number of points for your placement in each of the sports where the MIAA has a conference championship, and the tradition has been, and I really love this about what we do in the MIAA. We make that announcement of who won the award and provide that recognition at our annual awards event in June. But we wait until the start of the fall season to actually make the official presentation on campus, usually at halftime of the football game, and give all of the student athletes and coaches that were part of that a chance to be on the field and to celebrate. What an accomplishment. It's really saying that this past year in every sport, collectively, Pittsburgh State had the best athletics program in the best conference in Division II, and it's quite a celebration, quite an opportunity for not just the coaches and the student athletes, but President Ship will be there. Athletic Director Jim Johnson and all of his staff will be present, and maybe the most exciting thing is that we get to have our corporate partner that sponsors this award and has been doing that for the last 7 years, McCown Gordon Construction. They'll be bringing all of their top executives with them to not just be there at halftime, but they're doing a big tailgate before the game on Thursday, and a lot of their executives and clients in that area will be present to help McGowan Gordon celebrate, really what this award means to them, to have their names on this trophy. So it'll be a great evening. The weather looks good, and it's always an exciting way to start the fall season in the MIAA, giving away last year's Commissioner's Cup to the student athletes that were part of that.
Chatting with MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy. We'll roll on with a couple other topics before we get you out of here this week. D2 Football Alliance. We've talked about it a few times over the last several months. Just where is that at this point, and kind of, no pun intended here, but how is the alliance, I guess, continuing to strengthen and I guess be heard more across the NCAA too?
Yeah, I'm really excited where we're at. We put this alliance together last year coming out of the NCAA convention, and the MIAA and the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the GLIAC. We took the lead in putting together a white paper of some things that we saw, both conferences saw, where we're at in the sport of football, and some areas that we can make some improvements, and circulated that white paper last winter, and we've got 7 conferences that have participated in the 3 meetings that we've had for the Football Alliance. And the thing that's really unique about this alliance, we've talked about it, Chris, is that you get really the only opportunity in our MIAA, in our Division II governance process, where presidents, commissioners, and athletic directors can get around the table to talk about football. And we've talked on previous editions of the A Game Show why football is important, and I think it's obvious for a lot of our fans that our schools invest a lot of money in football, or our schools really have opportunities with football with gate revenue and sponsorships maybe that don't exist in all of the other sports to drive revenue and bring revenue in for the athletic department. Certainly with a roster of 120 young men on campus playing football, you're bringing a lot of students on your campus that are paying tuition and books and fees that might not otherwise be there, paying those expenses. But Football is really the place where we celebrate intercollegiate athletics and connect the athletic department to campus and campus to the rest of the community. It's a gathering place, football games for homecoming, for alumni events, for reunions, for military appreciation day, all of those things. But, really the reason the Alliance is, I think, proved successful is that everyone understands that a healthy Division II football structure and the competitiveness of Division II football allows for boosters and donors and board members and presidents and alumni to be happy that an institution is in Division II membership.
Right.
And we need to be mindful of that. Football drives membership. Football makes decisions about where schools should be, the conferences they should be in, and the divisions they should play in. And we've got to get this right. There are too many people sitting around this table of the Alliance membership and people that are sitting in Indianapolis that love Division II and want to see it be successful. And really, I think a critical way that we make that happen is making sure that we're continuing to improve, to evolve Division II football. And I think the most exciting thing, Chris, that the Alliance has seen happen in the last few weeks is a few members from the Alliance join me in Indianapolis for some dialogue and discussions with Terry Steve Gronow, who is the vice president and leader of Division II, and some of her staff, including representatives from Division II championships and the Division II football committee. And we had meetings in Indianapolis last week that I thought went very well. Really good dialogue about the work of the Alliance, things that the Alliance is interested in seeing, things like expanding the football bracket, maybe a different way that selections could occur or bracketing takes place. Certainly discussions we had about week 0 and the importance of that proposal to start the Division II football season a week earlier and open up that opportunity for non-conference scheduling, and then also giving our student athletes a week off during the season. And so we spent a lot of time talking about that legislative proposal that will be voted on in January and how critical that is to really the future of Division II football. But it was really just an opportunity, I think, to share and to talk about some of the things that the Alliance wants to see happen and some of the things that the Division II staff is working on, whether that's in the budget process or with championships or that the football committee is working on. And I walked away from those meetings really excited and thinking that we're all on the same page, Chris, and we're all trying to get to the same place to make sure that Division II as a membership division continues to grow, continues to be successful, and continues to be a home for schools like schools that are in the MIAA and the GLIAC and the Gulf South Conference, the Lone Star Conference, and others that are part of this football alliance.
Get you out of here on this one. A few announcements for the MIAA Neutral Site Championships, women's soccer and volleyball. I know those were put out a couple weeks ago, but again, here we are. Championships will be starting. I don't want to say this because it's going to come up really fast, but what, in 2 months, 2.5 months at this point that we're going to be talking MIAA championships already?
Yeah, it's the marathon that will actually feel like a sprint is
Right.
is on, Chris, and you're right. It'll be fall championship time before we know it. But yeah, we're really excited this year that we'll have a neutral site for volleyball again. We'll be back in St. Joe. We were there last year. I thought Brett and his staff with the St. Joe Sports Commission did a great job as hosts. It was awesome to be in, a facility like we played at the Civic Arena, and having the opportunity to be downtown in St. Joe, and to have our 8 teams experience that type of a volleyball championship in a historic building on a neutral site. And that's what we want to create in the MIAA, continue to create these neutral site, great championship experiences for our student athletes that will help prepare them for the NCAA tournament. I think we do a great job of that in basketball at Municipal Auditorium, and so we'll be in St. Joe for volleyball, and we'll be in Wichita at Stryker Sports Complex for our women's soccer championship. And this is the first time in several years that we've been at a neutral site for women's soccer. We'll be playing our Final Four in Wichita. This is something that our coaches have really, really wanted to see happen, and we're excited to see how this goes. But again, that neutral site experience will help prepare our women's soccer student athletes for that road to hopefully making a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And so we're excited to see how the fall goes, and we're hopeful that we can continue to offer these championships at a neutral site to provide a true championship experience for MIAA student athletes.
Here we go. MIAA Commissioner Mike Racy. We're off and running now this week. It's a pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about here in a week or so when we chat again.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you, sir. Take care.